Hey guys, my name is Alex and welcome to Geonode Academy. So this is one of our first scraping videos, so we're really going to be covering the basic concepts of web scraping. And today our target is books2scrape.com, which is a very common playground for all web scraping tutorials. And the task is going to be quite easy. We see a lot of books here, which means that we would want to get the prices and the names of the books. That's it, not complicated at all. This website doesn't provide API, which might be the reason why in real life you would want to use web scraping. So how will it actually go? As you might know, your browser downloads HTML from a server with all this data, which means all of this is already on your computer. So for example, if you're on Mac, you can hit Options, Command, and I, and that's going to open your developer's menu. So if you go to Elements, you would see the HTML that makes up this page. So for example, if I want to get this price, there it is. It's going to be in p tag with price color. This information is already on my laptop, which means that I can change it. Let's say I want that thing to cost 1,000. Voila. So here you're going to see that this is now 1,000. Of course, that doesn't mean that you managed to change this information on the server of Books2Scrape. And if we reload, the information is updated again and now it's correct. But why did I show you this HTML? Because that's exactly how we're going to be scraping the information. Our first step will be to download this HTML. Then we're going to parse it, which means we're going to find all the names, all the prices, we're going to assign it to each other and store in a usable format. In our case, that's going to be a CSV. So that's a big picture, and now let's actually go ahead and do it. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using Python. I've already written all the code, so you will not have to suffer and watch how slowly I type, and I type painfully slowly. I assume that you already have the basics of Python. If you don't, go ahead and click on this video. It's going to be in the description as well. And you can click on the screen too. That's a Python tutorial. It takes you from 0 to hero in about a couple hours. Well, not to hero, to almost a hero, let's say. But it gives you really, really good basics. So we are importing a few things. There are 3 libraries that we're going to be using. So first, requests. And request is something that's going to help us make a request to the URL that we're trying to scrape and download the HTML from there. Then we're going to be using BeautifulSoup. BeautifulSoup, one of the most popular parsing libraries. BeautifulSoup will take HTML as an input, and then it's going to give us the same data, but in a dictionary format. And finally, we're going to use CSV just to save everything in a CSV. So let's go line by line and see what the code actually is telling us. So URL, this is a variable, it's defined, and now we have the first function, scrape the book's data. As you can see, the first line here is response equal requests.get. And requests.get once again allows us to get the HTML of a page. We are now checking the response. If response status code is 200, it's amazing. That means we've received the HTML and everything is going sweet. If it's 300, 400, or 500, then there is a problem. So we're gonna pass this, and then we come to the concept of soup. So soup is just, you can really name this variable anything you like, but this is a more conventional way of naming the BeautifulSoup object, because this is exactly what it is. It's a BeautifulSoup object that gets HTML as an input, because this is the response content, and then we specify which parser to use, and in this case this is an HTML parser because we have HTML. So now we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna print the soup. So pause this video for a second and think a bit, after I hit this button, what exactly is gonna be printed. Okay, whoever guessed that we're gonna have a raw HTML printed out is a hero of the day, and yes, that's exactly what we have. In this HTML, we're going to have exactly the same data as here, So whatever you can see here will be in our HTML, which is already amazing. So now we need to dial down and actually figure out how to find the prices and the names. And first of all, we need to go here and find the products. Okay, so for those of you who know something about HTML, so here we found an ordered list with a list items inside. That's amazing. That's exactly what we need, because this list is the list of our products. So we can see that each list contains an article with the class product pod. That is precisely how we're gonna dial down and actually retrieve all the product pods. Let's go here. Let's uncomment it. Bum. But we're now gonna print this. So once again, pause your video and try to think what exactly will be printed now. So now, first of all, we have a list, not a raw HTML anymore. That's a good thing. But you can see that it's only the articles, right? So it's only the information on the books. Now in this HTML, we would not see any information on anything that is really outside of this list. Good. So now let's retrieve some data for each book. I already have the for loop written for you. So let's uncomment it. So let's talk a little bit about this for loop. So for each element within the list books data, we're going to be looking for the title and for the price. So how do we look for the title? If we open it right here, we can zoom in with the mouse, or we can look for the correct tag within HTML, doesn't matter. So we see that there's only one H3 tag. Cool. So that means in each pod we are taking one H3 tag. However, there is a trick, because you see that there are some dots, so it's not a full title. However, we still have a full title in a title. I hope you see it. Probably you're not watching from mobile screen, so you would see that there is a way to get the entire title, not just the text. So how do we do that? First, we get the link element, which is inside H3. That is the only element that is there, so it's easy to find it. Then for the book name, we are getting the title. Unless there is no title, in that case, we're going to receive no title. And that's going to be pasted in our dictionary, as we are going to be appending it lower. Then we extract the price, and I think by now you understood the logic. The same way, we go for the price. We find that it's P element, and the class name is price color. And that's precisely how we're going to find it. By the way, don't forget to include this lower dash after class. That's quite important, because the class is a reserved word in Python. Then we get the text. We strip, which means we remove the spaces from each side of the string. And unless that is possible, then we're going to put no price. Very good. Now it's time to compile book data, our dictionary. So name, book name, price, price. Quite straightforward. And now we are appending this into the books data, which means that in the end we're going to have the list of dictionaries. So I think it's time for us to check how it's going to look and print books data. So for ones of you that are stopping the videos, try to stop the video and guess what exactly is going to be shown in a second. Oh, sorry, I did not save it. That's why it shows the same thing as before. There we go. So now we have the list of the dictionaries with all the information that we need. Bravo! We've done most of it. All right, so now we got all the books data that we wanted. Let's run it again. Let's see what it prints. And now we have a list of the dictionaries with all the information. We have the price and we have the names of the books, which is amazing. So the next step is to save that into a CSV. So here's the function that saves it into a CSV. It takes the books data as an input because we return the books data in the previous function. Then we have a file name, and that's exactly where our CSV is going to be stored. So let's call it video1. And I'm going to remove the previous CSV file so we can ensure that everything works smoothly. So, first thing, what we need to do, and I am sure that you already are familiar with this syntax. So you need to write with open file name, and then this one for writing. Then we are setting a new line. And field names are important because this is something that's going to be in the headers of the CSV. And then you see that we're going to write field names with field names. The first call would go to actually writing the header of the CSV, and then we're going to write the rest of it. If you're curious about how exactly the CSV works in Python, probably you should go to the same tutorial that I pointed to you before, because here we are mostly trying to talk about web scraping, not really about how Python works. So by the end of the day, we should already have a good CSV file. So let's hope that it all works. And let's open it. Voila. We have the correct headers, we have the prices, and the books. But let's quickly check if Shakespeare sonnets actually are 20 pounds on the website. So we go here. Here's our Shakespeare. Okay, let's. Oh, there we go. Yes, so we are correct. The data is scraped correctly, and that's how you do it. So I hope this video was clear. Of course, you would be able to access the code at any point in video description. I think we're also going to be linking our GitHub repo with the entire code base of all the tutorials that we're going to be doing. So once again, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and stay tuned with Geonode Academy. You have a great one. Bye-bye.